Previously on Miss President.
On Group Red, I'm Kenny People's Party. Jemima Kutata and Shamala Immaculate, stand up. Jemima Kutata, we are sorry that you have to leave the academy. However, we are very proud, at least for that change that we have seen today. I am very excited that even as you go out there, you can leave the academy knowing that there is growth. We want to believe that you're still going to champion your initiatives as a leader. And for that, congratulations. Yes. Mwanzo Mpya Party, Elizabeth Pantoren and Shamin Maya. Shamin Maya, we are sorry we'll let you go home, but we still believe that you can champion a lot of change among the young girls in your community. And for that, we are very proud of you. And we know that when they watch the show, they'll know, I want to reach where that girl has reached. And for that, we're proud of you. The Green Mustard Seed, Dorothy Mikis and Caroline Ogot. Caroline Ogot, you said you're warm. I think your warmth will allow you another chance in the academy. Congratulations. Dorothy Mikis, we are sorry to let you go home, but we are very proud that we know that you are a change leader. From 97 to now, that's a long time, that's 20 years. One thing we know is that beyond Miss President, your story is going to come up many times, and thank you. Sauti Mpya Party, that is Chebitui Dina Helen and Mercy Seraphine Wanyonyi. Chebitui, you lost hope too early. I don't know why you lost hope too early. But one thing, even with your speech, you told us how you are ready and how much you have learned. And for that, we're proud. We are sorry to let you go home. But we are very proud to have had a leader of your status in the house and your warmth. And we want to believe that even as you go home, you will still have us in your journey. One thing that's very notable about you is your calm motherly nature that I think resonated with a lot of people in the house. Yeah. And now that the mother is going, I hope you will find another mother. Thank you so much, Chebitui.
And now, a quick look at the parties before elimination. Remember, somebody from each party will be going home tonight.
Later in this episode, we join the rest of the country in marking this important day with a special guest of the Academy. Now we are down to 32 contestants. Nantakuliza tena, is Kenya ready, do you think, for a female president? It's always a pleasure being in the company of great leaders. It is without a doubt that you have capable, determined women in this country, ready to take the mantle of leadership. The contestants will undergo training, tasks, various challenges and problem-solving activities, presentations, and finally, the dreaded eliminations to eventually get that one person, that one winner, who we will name Miss President.
Over 1,000 applications were received from all over Kenya, and from these, 70 contestants were shortlisted. After a series of auditions, 40 women were selected, and they are battling it out at the academy, where they are going through a process of training, tasks, challenges, problem-solving activities, presentations, and eliminations to eventually be elected Miss President. The candidates are divided into 4 groups, as leadership doesn't work in a vacuum. Leaders are required to work with people from all walks of life. While working within these groups, the contestants will be tested on their ability to lead or work as a team. You can be sure that at every stage of this competition, you will be at the edge of your seat as these capable women try to convince the judges and you at home why they should make it to the next stage of the competition. Here are the counties that are represented by the remaining contestants. Now, let's meet our esteemed judges for this episode.
I'm Dr. Zipporah Okoth. I'm a lecturer of film and theatre arts at Kenyatta University. I'm also the founder of the Lake International Pan-African Film Festival. I'm a gender consultant and a performing artist. I'm looking for people who are informed, presentable, firm, and have a purpose.
Hi, I'm Jerry Kirene. I work in the policy environment, helping various small groups lobby for better laws for business. I'm a tough judge. I'm no nonsense. The minute you come before me, you better know your stuff. If you don't, well, you can only expect a challenge.
Hi, my name is Michael Onyango, and I work within the field of ICT and also communications and public policy. And I want to ensure that the person that ends up being Miss President will be able to galvanize and take charge of the best human resource that we have.
In today's episode, the contestants will be trained on leadership, that is critical thinking, integrity, and ethics.
My name's Dr. Monica Keretz Macau. My background is in governance and leadership, and institutional governance, specifically around change management and managing institutions through change. Our topic today is on leadership and the question around what does it take to be a critical thinker as a leader.
When somebody asks you who is a great leader, what do you say? Do you think because you're a woman, you've got to wear traditional outfits to lead? Suppose see you in a traditional outfit? Or kitenge, because you think that a woman with kitenge is the one that leads. I remember there was a time in my life I wanted to do that, just so that I can appear older. You know? What are the single stories that you have in your mindsets about leadership?
Whenever I told anyone that I was vying for senator, the first question that asked me is, why are you not vying for MCA? Because to them, there is no way a young woman with a small body has the competence and the content to be a senator.
And you know, you highlight some interesting things. A young woman, considered young, small body, so that if, for example, I was standing next to a bigger-bodied woman, it's almost assumed the bigger-bodied woman is more older than me.
Yeah.
We as women leaders should shun emotions. That is a narrative that is perpetrated over and over again.
Where we have the issue of two-thirds gender rule, there's an assumption that the one-third should be the woman and the two-thirds should be the men.
When people hear the names like Fatuma, Salma, Nadia, Asha, and they see someone wearing a hijab, it's all about we are flamboyant, we are lazy. Yes, we are not aggressive enough. Hatuko aggressive enough, hatuonekani.
Jikoni ni yao.
Jikoni ni yao.
Watulishe. We, in this nation and in this continent, have certain stereotypes about leaders. The question for us as we enter into leadership is whether we are also carrying them with us. That we sit in a room and the first thing we do is see tribe. And when I see Lucy Daisy Mwangi, I don't see Lucy, I see who? Hata namuuliza, akiniambia jina lake ni Lucy Daisy, namuuliza nini? Nani? Jina la ukweli ni? Huh? And then I see her in the lens of who? Mkikuyu huyo? Mjubilee huyo? Anapenda pesa huyo? The first one I'd like to present to you as the first lens that I'd like you to wear as a leader is the lens of thinking about the country as an entire nation. If you want to lead this country, then you must know about this country. You're not going to tell me flossy words like it's beautiful. You are going to tell me the forest cover in this country is X. You are going to tell me that the GDP of this country is Y. When you understand your nation, you begin to see what policies do we need to put in place. Ladies, I want you to see leadership as very structural. Your decision making is deliberate. It is done with a process because you understand your facts on the ground. Let us remove the single story notion where we critique with no what? With no solution. And you better be clear about your solution to the entire value chain and not a small part of it. Your leadership is about your great-grandchild. It's not about you. It's not about your daughter. Your leadership should be thinking about 100 years from now. The second lens I'd like you to see as a leader is the people lens.
Okay, when I'm using the people's lens, I will talk about the population of Kenya. What is the population of Kenya?
Okay, so we start the population of the country. Up to the future, population increase in this country is by how much every year? Yes. You know that we are increasing at a rate of X. And because of that, therefore, I need to make the following decisions. It means I'm not going to wake up and say we need more schools.
When you look at the land ownership.
Oh, you're even doing excellent. Yes.
Only 2 to 5% women own land.
Oh.
Our question as the next president.
Yes.
We want to know why is it that 80% of the workforce in agriculture is women and only 2 to 5% of them actually own the land.
Excellent. Very good questions. Right? Now you're thinking. Leadership has got very many what? Facets. If you use only one lens to see the world, that lens is not enough for you to make good decisions as a leader. We have learned in this nation to see leadership with a political lens that's dangerous. And we think they're a leader because they have more sway. Never mind that they bought or bribed half the team. Who does she know? I discover, who does she have? So now I talk to Jane because I know, who you? Ako connected sana. Wacha nimjue kidogo. Itarab kidogo. I begin to get to know her more, isn't it? So unfortunately, this style of leadership is what we know and has become the psyche of this nation. There is danger in seeing one side of things. We're seeing this lens in terms of conflict. That you know what? Life is about conflict. Life is about disagreements. Just because I know Jane doesn't mean we won't disagree. The question is how I learn as a leader to negotiate that disagreement. My children's children will not know that we disagreed. They will only know that the forests were cut down and they have no trees. We tend to speak about teamwork on its own. Teamwork is not a subject on its own. It's in everything that we do. Because in this lens, if I only use this lens, I will not see teamwork. In this lens, I'll only see difference. Isn't it? And the danger of the single story in this nation is that leadership is carried based on what car we drive, the symbols we carry with this leadership. And we carry them based on how many security guards we have. Never mind that you're going to drive to a community where nobody drives a car. But you want to come there with the biggest Range Rover. Why don't you say one day, let me walk? Because the majority of my nation walks. How do you treat the drivers? How do you treat your staff? How do you treat your population? Do you go and talk to them like you're up there and they're down there? How is leadership for you? You can be very bright here, but you're unable to do that because you treat people with disdain. Wako ni watu. Kuna watu na kuna viatu. Huh? And so you have different qualities in terms of your leadership. The danger of a single story is that we no longer understand ourselves as servant leaders. We think we are bullies to our people. We think somehow that, but they're the ones paying you. You want to get more resources at the cost of other people. You want to have bigger homes at the cost of your population. It should give you a shiver to want to enter public service because it should be a calling. And the danger of the single story is that we have made leadership as politics so that it's not a calling, right? And so what it does now is that if I can pay you, I can be a leader. This nation is pro-poor. This nation does not have all the big houses. The majority of this country does not live in big houses, does not have water in their taps. Let us wear these lenses, use them to think strategically, use them to think well, and let us, because we are women, even change the narrative of a woman leader. Yeah? And we can actually do it together as a team. Thank you very much. Yeah? Yeah?
There is a way we were thinking about who will become Miss President. Now my perspective is different. A Miss President is human. A Miss President can come and eat with you in a kibanda.
Can make
a
mistakes.
Miss President can make mistakes.
Once you occupy that leadership position, you look at Kenya for what it is. You don't look at it through your tribal lines, through stereotypes, through what you heard when you were growing.
That's right, yeah.
But even more importantly, not through what people have said about you or about your community.
You cannot call yourself a president if you don't understand your country. You have to understand not just the people, but the economic and physical structure of this nation.
It brought us back to the real, that who are we as women? Are we going to do the same things that have been done before, or we can do it differently?
Wow. You are watching Miss President. Over 1,000 applications were received from all over Kenya, and from these, 70 contestants were shortlisted. After a series of auditions, 40 women were selected, and they are battling it out at the academy, where they are going through a process of training, tasks, challenges, problem-solving activities, presentations, and eliminations to eventually be elected Miss President. The candidates are divided into 4 groups, as leadership doesn't work in a vacuum. Leaders are required to work with people from all walks of life. While working within these groups, the contestants will be tested on their ability to lead or work as a team. You can be sure that at every stage of this competition, you will be at the edge of your seat as these capable women try to convince the judges and you at home why they should make it to the next stage of the competition. Here are the counties that are represented by the remaining contestants. And now, a quick look at the parties before elimination. Remember, somebody from each party will be going home tonight. How was the first lesson? How was it? Yeah? Powerful? Powerful? Yeah? Let's give a round of applause to Fadali. So now we're getting into the second part of the show, which is tasks. I'm also going to introduce the judges to come in, because at some point Mwalimu has to make sure that this is done properly. Judge Kerene tumpige makofi. Judge Dr. Izipi and the new judge Mike. Good to see you, Mike. Good to see you.
All right, team, Miss Excellencies, you have Kenya before you as your assignment. You're the presidents of this country. Could you map out your strategic plan for this nation, bearing in mind what we have learned so far, and take us through how you intend to take this nation and lead this nation for the next 5 years?
So we are going with the big four, yeah? Then we come back and fill in.
Let's make a strategy for APP. What is our vision? And stick to that.
If it's health, it's sustainable development. If it's education, it's sustainable development.
To promote public confidence by enforcing rule of law and integrity in the public service.
Yes. So we add let us have fun. That is the only strong thing that we can have that will make us stand out. Let's identify the four. Because access to justice is a basic principle of fundamental rights.
So I would like to suggest something. Security.
So we had a vision, a united, peaceful and prosperous nation with equality life for its citizens. Mission, to transform Kenya into a newly industrialized middle-income country, providing a high quality of life to all its citizens in a clean and secure environment.
For education, the first strategy is to have quality education for all. The objectives is to ensure that citizens have access to quality education by the year 2024. The activities include employing more teachers for primary and secondary school to target 20 students per teacher, to ensure all schools have access to electricity, build and equip more primary schools and secondary schools, plus polytechnics and ECDs, build universities in every sub-county.
I'll go through health. We wanted to attain universal healthcare, improve capacity of healthcare workers, improve coverage of trained healthcare workers, and the agencies would be national government doing policy development and county governments doing service delivery. For universal healthcare, we wanted every Kenyan to have access to quality health, and we would build health facilities, equip the health facilities, distribute supplies and employ staff, and then also facilitate counties to recruit doctors and other healthcare workers.
As a team, we identified 5 themes. We have identified the key issues that we want to tackle, and then we have given a baseline, that is what the current situation is, and in some cases supporting with statistics. Our vision is that Kenya where every citizen enjoys their economic, social, cultural and political rights. And our mission in this is that we will ensure there's transparency and accountability to the citizens of Kenya.
In every 2 years, more than 4 million Kenyans are arrested and detained. More than 40 million Kenyans are unable to access legal services. So our goal is investing in pro bono lawyer scheme, whereby we have free lawyers representing clients. We're also planning on investing in community plans of resolving conflicts. This is aimed at decongesting our court systems by allowing and equipping communities to have ways of resolving conflicts.
Our first pillar is manufacturing, which is towards realizing Vision 2030. Our strategic plan vision in manufacturing is raising manufacturing center contribution from 9% to 20%. Number 2, to top World Bank's top 50 countries where it is easy to do business according to the global index. As we speak, Kenya is currently not at the top 50. Number 3 is create 2 million new jobs in the manufacturing sector. Create model factories in 20 counties to impart manufacturing expertise to SMEs in order to strengthen them to grow into big companies.
The 4th pillar is food and nutrition security. Our goal was to improve food security by 100% over the next 5 years, and the key areas we're looking at was maize production, rice production and potato production. For maize, we're looking to increase the production from 40 million bags to 72 million bags by 2024. For rice, we would like to move it to 480,000 metric tons. For potatoes, we're looking to move that from 1.3 million metric tons to 3.5 million metric tons over the same period. Lastly, we'd like to reduce the cost of food by contracting farmers for strategic food reserves and other commercial offtakes.
The agricultural sector is key to the economy of this country. The goal we have in agriculture to optimize agricultural productivity in order to enhance food security and improve livelihoods. To increase agricultural crop yield, the activity is to provide farm inputs, fertilizers, seeds, etc. The output is increased yield. Performance indicator is the increase in the yield, that is by 30%. Responsibility is the Ministry of Agriculture, Farmers and County Government. We have other partners, that is NGOs, private sector, and we have allocated the budget of 80 million.
After serving their term at the helm, each party leader or president, as we refer to them at the Academy, must step down and hand over to a newly elected president. The president is supposed to organize their group and ensure that the activities are done in a coordinated and cohesive way where everybody works. If any conflicts arise among the members, they are supposed to make sure that the issues are resolved. These are the presidents elected by their parties for this episode.
Now it's that time. You have 5 minutes to think about your nomination. Who will you nominate? 5 minutes.
I really like her. She's a friend, but she played very unfair, I heard, with a powerful member of our team, and I wouldn't want to lose that person.
She has all the leadership qualities, but we need to see her more. Her integrity has been compromised.
And for me, I want this to be fair.
She's an excellent leader, but today she didn't really come out.
That lack of reviewing and the practicality of the education system.
She still has time and room to just find her own leadership path.
She doesn't delegate. She dominates most of the tasks.
She's causing us to fail as a group because she won't listen to other people's opinions.
She came really late for our team meeting.
Welcome back. You're on Miss President. Time now to have a chat with the judges. So you kind of realize that today, you kind of like, jolted. There is a Miss President in the making in there, despite
yes,
the lethargy we witnessed today.
Absolutely. I think there are some gems that you can see inside there. But also, the other thing is that they've also learned some things which they must unlearn. They have learned to play politics. The primary reason why they're here, and that final title of Miss President is going to go to a leader and not to a politician.
So how does that then determine how you will decide who stays and who doesn't?
Well, everything has changed now, Jimmy, because even based on just how they've been voting, all we can see is that now they're getting threatened by at least those who appear to know, to be a bit knowledgeable about things like policy, which is really not the way we want to select leaders. And that's not what I expect from the next woman or the first woman leader. Women are known to be diligent.
Daktari? How then has this affected your decision on who stays and who goes?
I think in the process, these people have been trying to kick off the strongest, It's the survival of the jungle, You kick the strongest so that hopefully you can remain. But today we were seated in those groups and we saw their level of participation. A true leader is able to identify and say, this person is strong enough. Let me leave her so that I battle with her at the top.
Hypothetically, if they put a name that you feel should stay, what will you do?
Jimmy, today we were in the house. Let that be known.
And we went around each and every single group.
And we sat with each group.
So it's going to be an interesting next segment coming up.
Stay with us.
You are watching Miss President. Over 1,000 applications were received from all over Kenya, and from these, 70 contestants were shortlisted. After a series of auditions, 40 women were selected, and they are battling it out at the academy, where they are going through a process of training, tasks, challenges, problem-solving activities, presentations, and eliminations to eventually be elected Miss President. The candidates are divided into 4 groups, as leadership doesn't work in a vacuum. Leaders are required to work with people from all walks of life. While working within these groups, the contestants will be tested on their ability to lead or work as a team. You can be sure that at every stage of this competition, you will be at the edge of your seat as these capable women try to convince the judges and you at home why they should make it to the next stage of the competition. Here are the counties that are represented by the remaining contestants. And now, a quick look at the parties before elimination. Remember, somebody from each party will be going home tonight.
Now, as promised earlier in this program, that we have a special guest. Before we get into the elimination process, the contestants host the Canadian High Commissioner, Her Excellency Lisa Stadelbauer, for an intimate chat. This is really a conversation with Her Excellency the High Commissioner of Canada, okay? And it borders around leadership, her journey to leadership, and any other questions or conversation pertaining to leadership.
You are an excellency, so per se you're the president here. So I want to know, what is your experience in leadership? Is it any more different in Canada, or is it the same as what we're going through?
My own path has been slow and steady. I started in the Foreign Service almost 30 years ago, and when it came time for me to be at the right level to be an ambassador, of course, like most women, I wasn't convinced I was ready. I picked good people that I wanted to work with, because I think that often who you're working with is more important than what you're doing. I think it's really important as a leader to rise up the people around you. If you're lifting up the people around you, you lift up as well. Work hard, be kind to the people around you. I like to think that I developed a reputation for somebody who people wanted to work with. You found the path to get here, which was not an easy path. The next one, sit down and dream it, and if you can dream it, you can do it.
Welcome back, viewers. You are watching Miss President on KTN Home. Your Excellencies, welcome back. How are you feeling? Anxious, of course. Contestants, your fate now lies in the hands of the 3 judges.
We have come to that moment when 4 people will be going home. The pressure is evident on the contestants' faces. The uncertainty is making them edgy. Viewers at home, I'm sure you are as tense as our contestants. Who will stay? Who will be on probation? And who is going home?
All those who are on probation, kindly stand up. You have all been released from your probation. You can sit down.
So from Mwanzo Mpya team, could Nerea Amondi please come forward? Could Mary Miano also please come forward? From the mustard seed, Halima Garat, could you please come forward? Linda Kamau, please come forward. Sauti Mpya team, Apetet Jane, please come forward. Vivian Ta, please come forward. And finally, from Amkeni People's Party, could Mary Njue please come forward? And finally, Emily Mwangi.
Today, it is not just about the names that were nominated. Today, the judges have nominated the people seated here for the various reasons. We have watched you over a period of time, and for different reasons, we feel that it is your turn. Some of you will go home, some of you will stay. Okay? So with that in mind, you will be asked different questions, and the way you answer them at this very moment will determine whether you stay or you go.
I will begin with you, Mary Miano. Why did you keep interrupting your leader?
I used respect, because at all times I would say, I would talk when I'm given a chance.
That's not what I observed, but thank you so much for your answer. Please have a seat. Thank you. Nerea, what is your passion? What's the primary thing you do as an MCA?
Because of the statistics of child defilement, early marriages and pregnancy in Homa Bay, I've actually taken on the lead role in domesticating legislation. Having a background of a teen pregnancy, I took that on because I experienced it in person, and I want to see the difference made in my county.
What teachings did you take into today's activity?
You asked me a question.
Yes.
And I have something to say as a person.
No, answer the question.
Come on.
What teaching from today's session did you take into today's activity?
Justice is something that is paramount in our country. And to be served, we should have a strong people.
Linda, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Okay, great. Linda, where do you come from again?
Kirinyaga County.
Kirinyaga County.
Yes.
Okay, so what are the big issues that are currently facing your people or where you come from?
Like 80 to 90% of us, we are in agriculture. It's market for our produce.
Within the assignment that you had today,
Yes.
how did you apply some of the challenges that you're currently facing in terms of what came out and what was delivered and presented to us?
On my experience in agriculture, I brought the fact that on food security, we should be more particular on distribution, especially.
Did you bring that out? Was that specifically there?
Not in that way. Not
Yes.
in those
So
terms.
I think, and this is generally to everybody else here, remember I said that we need to see your personalities coming out. We need to see your individuality coming in. You know, what we're doing here is that when you become Miss President, we want to be sure that it is your agenda that's going to be running and not being controlled by a puppet from behind.
Jane Apetet, I just want to hear your thoughts on the Turkana water aquifer. Give me a tangible example that you will do to ensure that your people do not lose out.
The first one is capacity building the people so that they may change their mentality that you don't need to depend on relief food, but you need to empower ourselves, go to the farms. We can change our style of living from becoming pastoralists, we can become quasi-pastoralists and quasi-farmers.
Don't you think those are the kind of issues you should be talking about?
Yes.
How do you represent your people unless you come out with those kind of issues? Please be seated.
Thank you.
And to you, Vivian, what do you think needs to happen to the fashion industry so that someone like you can make a living and a good living from it?
Access to credit to the SMEs or the
What's your raw material?
Textile.
Exactly.
Yes.
What were we talking about in relation to textiles and our armed forces, our police?
We're talking about the uniforms.
Yes.
Yes.
What was the challenge?
The challenge was getting the right textiles.
From where?
Within the country.
There you are. You need to have affordable textiles, which means you have to have a vibrant textile sector. Isn't that it?
Yes.
Please be seated.
Miss President Mary Njue, you're now the President of the Republic of Kenya. You're addressing your cabinet and you're talking about job creation.
The country is facing unemployment. It is a fact. We could tap into agriculture to create employment. One, we have industries that need to be provided with the raw materials. We have the coffee and the tea industry. It is going down. We have the youth. Right now, we are changing the curriculum, and I'm really looking into it.
So stop there.
Thank you.
So hold on a minute. So great. What you've done is you've given a very nice political speech. You have not owned or been specific about what exactly you're directing and you're asking your cabinet to do. Emily Mwangi, what do we do with the people who have just left Form 4 and don't have places in university within the next 2 months?
I would like them to go through a transition training. The reason is a lot of these youths are idle, and idleness breeds a lot of bad things. So this transition...
Budget?
Yes.
The budget?
Because there are very many, that would go into probably past almost 1 billion shillings.
How do you come up with 1 billion?
They are the majority.
But you didn't say, but how many? So when you say majority meaning, are they 100,000? So what should you use the billion for?
I would put them probably in centers within their own towns. That is one. We would get qualified trainers, and then we would assign them tasks in which they have been...
What are the tasks, please?
Okay, tasks which they have been identified to be strong in, because not everybody is the same.
So if you want to be president of this country and you're sitting in this room, you must have your facts and figures on your fingertips. From today, you have a very heavy task to go back and redefine yourselves. Get to know this country for what it is. Take your responsibilities as Miss President far more seriously, because it is not a joke. It's not a walk in the park. Thank you.
I will start with the blue team. Nerea Amondi and Mary Miano, stand up. Mary Miano, we are sorry we'll have to let you leave the academy, but we are proud of who you've become, the change that you've given to the other ladies. We would like you to continue with that initiative. Nerea, you have a very strong personality. You are a very strong leader, and we could see that from day one. Suddenly, you are very lukewarm. Yeah? Don't change who you are for anything. It is who you are that made us put you in the academy. Nerea, congratulations. We'll give you another chance to be in the academy. Green team, Mustard Seed, Halima Garat and Linda Kamau. Linda, have confidence in yourself. Your self-esteem is going to break you if you're not careful. And I hope that if you stay, your self-esteem will grow, because that is the only thing that's going to drive you up. Linda, we'll give you another opportunity, and we hope you grow. We want to see growth in anyone who stepped into the Miss President Academy. Halima, we are sorry to let you go home, but we want to believe that in your community, you're still going to empower more girls to be where you already are, and even to go beyond where you are. We thank you so much. Yellow team, Apetet Jane and Vivian Ta. Apetet Jane, you talk like a very informed person on your areas, about your community, but we want more. What is lacking is for people to hear you owning your issues. Vivian Ta, you are in the fashion industry. Fashion people are people who make a statement. This is a moment to sell everything that you're wearing. Apetet Jane, we will give you another chance, considering how you spoke today. However, we need your participation to scale up. Yes, Vivian Ta, will have to let you go home. However, we want to believe that even from today's conversations, you're going to become proud of your brand. Mary Njue and Emily Mwangi. The two of you are very vague. Mary Njue, we are sorry we'll let you go home, but we are very proud of you for the leader that you have become. One thing that's notable is we have seen growth in you, and it's very commendable. Even the way you're standing, you're standing in a more confident way than the very first time we saw you here. Emily Mwangi, as a librarian, you are let down not to know statistics. I wonder. We will give you another chance in the academy. Okay. We hope today was a better day, and the next time you are called to vote, you will make a better choice.
I don't think I'm a weak candidate. I participated in my group. I shared ideas. I was a good team player.
Basing the argument on the discussion of that day, and the just mere conclusion that I was interrupting, to me it was not fair. It was biased.
When it comes to nomination, I might nominate my close friend. It is something that you cannot have control over it.
I can't leave my community where it is right now. I might have to continue doing what I believe I'm doing for their betterment. I've gotten personal feedback from the judges. I know exactly what the judges think of me, and for that I think I have an upper hand. So watch out. Confidence will be up.
What I've learned from the judges is that you don't have to lower your participation, your strength. The strength you came with, go with it to the end.
They did mention that I am a librarian. I should be more knowledgeable than I'm pretending to be. So, and besides that, being in a show like this, I need to be learning the correct facts. Yeah.
After a busy and highly charged day at the academy, it's time to take a breather. For some, probation calls for a meeting with self in order to assess or change strategies so as to remain in the competition. For others, goodbyes to newfound friends will close the day.
It's always hard to see someone leave the academy. Just when I'm getting to know them better and beginning to understand where their hearts are in this whole leadership space. But anyway, such is life. Competition is competition and someone has to go home. So as this group of honorable women continue their long and grueling journey that will demand their very best, let us keep appreciating the enthusiasm, the drive, as the path of greatness, the top continues on the next episode of Miss President. Send us your thoughts on @MediaFocus, media_focus in your Twitter, Facebook ni @MediaFocus on Africa, Instagram, selfie, if you can, @MediaFocus on Africa. Before I go, responsibility to yourself means refusing to let others do your thinking, talking, and naming for you. It means learning to respect and use your own brains and instincts, hence grappling with hard work. That was said by Adrian Rich. There's a reason why he's called Rich. Don't miss out on the next episode of Miss President, where another fascinating topic will be tackled, followed by tasks to test the skills of the contestants.